This is Coach Lee with my expatcoach.com, and in this video I'm going to talk to you about when you should not use no contact, which might be a little surprising to hear coming from me. Take a second and click the subscribe button below so that you can be notified when I have more content that's helpful to your situation. And that doesn't just include breakups, it includes attraction, marriage, and relationship dynamics. And as always, get free articles and more information on getting your ex back at myexpatcoach.com. So you've probably seen my other videos where I encourage you to use the no contact rule to get your ex back. And of course, there are other coaches who suggest the no contact rule as well. However, I take issue with several of them on how they advise that you implement no contact to get your ex back. And so in this video, I'm going to talk to you about when it makes sense to break no contact, or to not use the no contact rule, or to break the no contact rule temporarily. Now, if you're like me, you live in the real world, and sometimes a theory has to be modified, or a philosophy has to be tweaked. Things are not always black and white. Sometimes you have to roll with the punches. Sometimes you have to know the rules in order to break them. That being said, I want to tell you that no contact is almost always the right way to go. I've been in the relationship recovery service for nearly 2 decades, longer than anybody you know. I've seen more broken relationships and more restored relationships than anybody you know. So mom's advice or your best friend's advice, it just doesn't compare, simply because they don't have the vantage point that I do. They don't have the numbers. All they have is a hunch, maybe a little philosophy, something that they think might have worked once or twice for them, or something that they just think is right in general. And so be very careful who you listen to for relationship advice, and especially for breakup advice when you want your ex back. If you had seen as many breakups as I had, you would see this stuff too. So again, no contact is so effective in getting your ex back, and I have lots of videos on that subject, and I talk about it at myexpatcoach.com and in my emergency breakup kit at myexpatcoach.com. It is the way that I tell people that they should start to get their ex back. It allows your ex to miss you. It shows them that there are consequences to breaking up with you, that you're not just going to be there for support or for company during the breakup. It shows them that you are strong enough to move on. And it gives them a chance to experience the breakup and to realize they don't want it. Now, I get into more of the details on why no contact is extremely effective in getting your ex back in some other videos, and you can just look at my channel. I also talk about it at myexpatcoach.com, and you can just go there and search no contact. And there's a ton of resources there on why it's effective. So if you are looking for a loophole because your ex hasn't reached out yet, just know, don't fall for it. No contact is such an effective strategy, and it's most likely what is best for your situation. So don't be looking for some little loophole. That being said, there are some situations where not being in no contact or breaking no contact makes sense. So let's get going on that list. So the first one I tend to think is obvious, but there are other coaches out there who I'm sure are good and sincere people who disagree with me on this topic. And what they will tell you is that if your ex reaches out, that you should ignore them, that that's no contact. I disagree. If I hadn't had so much practical experience where people had gotten advice from other coaches, people who say they're coaches, friends, whatever, that tell them to ignore this person, and then they're on the phone with me because now they've been in this long stretch of time where they have not heard from this person. So their ex was reaching out. How are you doing? Asking about how another person's doing or how something is going, or do you remember this? Things like that, just reaching out, and someone who's really trying hard and has gotten some bad advice is ignoring them. Now let me ask you, if someone ignored you, what would you do? What would you think? I'll tell you what most likely would happen. You would probably do it a couple of times. You would probably reach out a couple of times, and then you would be tired of being ignored. Your ego and your feelings would be hurt because you were being ignored and you were being rejected. And so you'd stop reaching out. Most people would, and most people do. And so people get on a coaching call with me, which you can schedule at myexpatcoach.com. And you can also get more information about my emergency breakup kit where I go over this as well. But people will get some advice that they should ignore their ex when they reach out. And the ex reaches out and they ignore them. And the ex says to themselves, I'm not going to keep being rejected. I'm not going to be ignored and have my feelings hurt and my ego bruised. So they're going to stop reaching out. Well, now you're really in a pickle because now you're depending on them to be the one to reach out to you and you have no other option. And they think that if they reach out to you, they're not going to hear anything back. So why would they reach out to you? It would take someone with very little self-respect to just keep reaching out when you are ignoring them. It makes no sense. And I talk to people all the time who are in this situation because they think that being in no contact means ignoring the other person. It does not. So when your ex reaches out to you, yes, you break no contact and you respond. Now you don't respond with, oh, I missed you so much, I'm so glad to hear from you. But you do respond with something casual. And sometimes I talk to some of you and you'll say, well, I didn't respond because he didn't really say anything worth responding to. It's just something small. Well, again, it still counts. They still think that you are ignoring them. And so the likelihood of them reaching out is so far less when that happens. And one of the cases I'm thinking of, a woman told me that she ignored her ex when he reached out because he didn't really say anything that she thought was worth responding to. And you know, the reason she was on the phone with me is because it had been a couple months and he had said nothing. And it was because he thought she would continue ignoring him. So for your own good, do not ignore your ex. You just look like a jerk. You look like someone who's being immature. It's one thing not to contact them. And that's what I'm saying. No contact. You are not contacting them yourself. You're not actively reaching out. That's my definition of contact. It's not that you ignore them when they reach out to you, because that's a terrific sign. And you want to capture that momentum. That's when you want to respond. Now, again, you still have some reservation, you're polite and upbeat, but you don't ignore them. So that's the number one time where you would not be in no contact because you two technically would be speaking if they reached out to you. So don't ignore your ex. That's when you can break no contact. The second situation where you can break no contact is when you have kids or property together or issues in business or other things that involve the two of you and where you can't just ignore them, where it would be silly. When you have kids, for example, you would need to be in contact because you are still their parents. And so your contact with them, number one, it should only be when truly necessary. You shouldn't just be wanting to talk to them and be missing them and say, well, I'll reach out about the kids. No. It does not work that way. Don't fall for it. What I'm talking about is if you need to talk about who needs to pick the kids up from school, or who needs to, maybe if there's some discipline issues, grades, if there's time that's being spent with the kids, maybe you're getting them every other day or every other week or whatever it is, and you need to talk about matters related to parenting the children. That's when you would have to break no contact. But you would only talk about the kids or business if you had a business together, or property together, or whatever. If you have to pay taxes together, whatever it might be that's related to that, you obviously cannot stay out of contact with them. But you keep it about those issues, you stay upbeat, you stay positive, you stay polite. You are actually getting an opportunity to reattract this person by showing them that you're a strong person, that you're a happy person, that life is going well for you, and that you're not just sitting around pouting, being depressed, waiting on them, that kind of thing. Avoid altogether discussion of the relationship, the breakup, getting back together, or the issues unless they bring it up. And if they do, you be a good listener. But be careful about what you say, because talking about the issues, as I've said in other videos, is not what's going to get them back. Because if their motivation is low enough for them to break up with you, then it's not high enough to be willing to want to work on the difficult things. Think about that. So another time when you could break no contact, and again, some other coaches disagree with me, and that's fine. I'll put my experience up against theirs any day. At some point down the road, after enough time has passed, breaking no contact makes sense. You have nothing to lose. And I have spoken to enough people who have done the dumping. About 25% of my calls, of my coaching calls, are from people who have done the dumping. And sometimes these people have extreme anxiety. They fear rejection as well. They think that you're mad at them about the breakup. They don't know what to do. They don't know what to say. And sometimes they do want you back. Now, don't take that as a loophole to reach out to them and say, oh, well, that's my ex. I bet they just don't know what to say. Again, only if enough time has passed, and you ask, how much time is that? Well, I don't usually go with an exact number. I usually approximate, and it's kind of based on how long the two of you have been together. But basically, if it's been 6 months, that would be around a month and a half or 2. And I usually suggest that people try their best to make it to that longer point. If it's been a year, I usually say 3 months or more, 2 years, 5 to 6 months. And so you can see that it goes up the longer you two are together, because your influence, your imprint on them is going to be stronger. And so you have more time, and no contact can sometimes linger or take longer to work. Now, it doesn't always. Sometimes the longer the relationship, the cold turkey, instant no contact works very quickly and even faster than it would in shorter relationships where your influence and your connection to their lives is not as strong. But after an amount of time where it's been a while, you probably are thinking, I need to move on. I need to know for sure. I need to have some sort of closure. And by the way, that does not mean you reach out to your ex for closure. A lot of people use that as an excuse, and they'll say, I just reached out. I needed to talk to them because I just needed closure. Well, you're not entitled to that. And a lot of times that's not what you really want. You want to talk to them and try to get something going and try to get them back and try to spark some feeling within them. That's what you're really thinking, but you're kind of using the closure as an excuse. And so I'm telling you, don't hurt your own self by using that loophole. Just because you think, I want closure. No, closure is that they broke up with you. That's your closure. It means that they didn't see a future with you. It means they don't want to be together right now. That's closure. You don't have to have all the reasons why, and you don't have to ask questions, well, this makes no sense, and you said this at one point, because people change their minds on a dime sometimes, or they've been thinking about it for a very long time, which is almost always the case. And they've been hiding it. They've been pretending because they thought the feelings would come back. So avoid trying to find the loopholes to break no contact. But if it's been a while, and I've already given the time frames, let's say that it's been 3 months and you have decided, I'm going to reach out just to see, just in case there's a hurdle to them reaching out to me, I'm going to go ahead and reach out. And I discussed how to do that in my emergency breakup kit, because there's a lot to that. And I discussed some of the nuances on how you can use contact to your advantage when they are reaching out to you. But if they're not, and you reach out to them after a certain amount of time, yes, it's fine to break no contact at that point, because what do you have to lose? You don't have them. Some people might say, well, you're losing your pride or your self-respect. Well, no, you're not. You have the right to say, I'm going to reach out to this person. We had a relationship together. I'm at least just going to see how they're doing. Or there are strategies, like I said, in my emergency breakup kit that you can use to reach out to them that are very effective and that have numbers backing them, and it's not just because I think that it sounds good. But those are some reasons that you can reach out to your ex while you're doing no contact, where you can temporarily break no contact, or where after no contact has really run its course and it's going to have worked or not, which usually it does work. And I want to say that again, usually it does work. And again, more details are in my emergency breakup kit, which you can find a link to in the description below. You want to schedule a coaching call with me, go to myexbackcoach.com. That's myexbackcoach.com, and you can do that there. And please follow me on Instagram at instagram.com/realcoachlee. So my handle at Instagram is realcoachlee, and give me a follow there. The link to my emergency breakup kit is in the description below. This has been Coach Lee with myexbackcoach.com. Thank you for watching.